Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Peace be unto you. This is your program, Ramadan. Origin, practice, and benefit. I'm your host, Abdullah Muslim. And I'm going to go into the last episode that we were discussing. And I was talking to you about how I felt like I had been a seed in the desert that had been watered. The Quran is what was watering me. And like I said, this experience, this feeling is not in any way unique to me. This is something that Muslims, new Muslims in particular, but Muslims or people who born into traditional Muslim families, those who Allah has blessed to be able to read Quran and to get an understanding from it, have all relayed to me in the course of conversation. So at any rate, what happened was I was explaining how one of the things that I had been interested in is who is Iblis, who is Satan. And the Quran is explaining this to me. And I had never had detailed explanations. Now I read before two chapters and verses, chapter 2, verse 34, and chapter 7, verse 18, or actually 13 through 18. Now I'm going to go through 15, 31 through 44. Excuse me. Yeah, 15. 31 through 44. Here we go again. Who is Iblis? Who is Satan? Okay? And I say again, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We created man from sounding clay, from mud molded into shape. And the jinn race, which is what Iblis was, the jinn, not an angel, a jinn, we had created before him from fire of a scorching wind. Behold, your Lord said to the angels, I'm about to create man from sounding clay, from mud molded into shape. When I have fashioned him in due proportion and breathed into him of my spirit, I want you to fall down in obeisance unto him. Now remember before, Allah told him to prostrate, actually put your head on the floor, on the ground, and be submissive to a man. So the angels prostrated themselves, all of them together. Not so Iblis. He refused to be among those who prostrated themselves. And Allah said, "O Iblis, what is your reason for not being among those who prostrated themselves?" And Iblis said, I'm not one to prostrate myself to man. When you did create him from sounding clay, from mud, molded into shape. And Allah said, then get out of here. For you are rejected and cursed. And the curse shall be on you till the day of judgment. Yom Qiyamah, judgment day. And Iblis said, oh my Lord, then give me respite, give me time, let me show you, till the day the dead are raised. And Allah said, respite is granted to you, till the day of the time appointed. And Iblis said, because you have put me in the wrong, in other words, because you've punished me, I will make wrong fair seeming to them. Now just think, in the previous chapter I had read to you, where he said, I'm going to attack them from the front, from the rear, from the left and the right. Now he's going on. He's telling us other things that Iblis has told him. Okay? I'm going to make evil fair seeming. I'm going to make evil seem good to them on the earth, and I will put them all in the wrong. Then he goes on and he adds a caveat, an additional sentence. He says, except your chosen servants among them. And Allah said, this is for me a straight path. For over my servants you have no authority. except such of them who put themselves in the wrong and follow you. And verily, hell is the promised abode, or what we call Jahannam, hell. In Arabic is Jahannam, okay, for them all. To it are 7 gates, and for each of these gates is a special class of sinners assigned. Then, now I'm beginning to really get an understanding, because, hey, we live in a contemporary world here. We live in a world where even as a Christian, I knew that gambling was wrong, drinking alcohol was wrong, fornicating was wrong, murder was wrong, theft was wrong. I understood those things. But yet I'm not going to say everybody, because I came up in a fairly decent area. I came up in a decent neighborhood, all right, what you might call middle-class people. And we had policemen in my neighborhood. We had sanitation workers in my neighborhood. We had men who were self-employed. We had all kinds of people. My dad, he was in the Army, okay? He was an officer in the Army. So we had, people who were not taught that it's okay to resort to crime to make a living, okay? Which is something that America glorifies, like in the movie The Godfather, okay? Or how many movies have they made about Jesse James, or how many movies have they made about John Dillinger or Al Capone? These are all criminals, murderers, liars, thieves, pimps, and so forth and so on. That's who these men were, but they glorify them in American and, generally speaking, Western culture. So, and I'm going to arouse them amongst them, and arouse those whom you can amongst them. It's the law talking to Iblis with your seductive voice. Wow. What's a seductive voice? Well, some movies, because it's movies how they glorify these things. And, I don't know if those of you who are watching this, inshallah, can understand the chills that were going up and down in my being, myself, my physical body, when I'm reading this, because I'm starting to see things clearly now. That's what the Quran does. And it all started in Ramadan 1975. That's when it started. But you have to understand, I've been reading the Quran from that time to this, and each year your understanding gets deeper and it becomes more fleshed out, because you see, as we live, what happens is things happen in the world that Allah talks about in this book, okay, that come to pass, or things that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us would come to pass. Now, you got to understand, I've never seen Allah. As far as I know, no one has. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was not a sociologist or a psychologist or any of the things that or historian. He was none of those things. He was a man who couldn't even read or write. That this book was revealed through, beginning when? Ramadan, in Mecca, okay? In Mecca. That's when it began. And now here I am, 1445 or 46 years later, reading this book and seeing things that somebody who had no way of knowing they would occur has occurred. And I'm reading it, and being the type of, having the type of work that I had, puts me in a position to be able to look at things, to read newspapers, and to read books on history. I've got a reasonably good education. And to see these things and to understand them in the light of what you might call the contemporary world, the present time we're living in. But also I see all the things that have happened in the past. Okay? Not see, but I've read about them. And I say, don't these people understand what they've done? Don't they understand what they're doing? And you can see how everything that has happened in the past is a building block to what is happening now. Look, got to move on to the next episode. So I pray that Allah blesses us all to gain some benefit from what I'm saying this Ramadan, because this is Ramadan when I'm talking with you. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.